Hi again, everybody. It's Rob Kennedy. Little different version of our Hoop Group Alum of the Week. Instead of having it across all the stuff, since it's Final Four weekend coming up, we decided to bring in Jay Gomes, not only the guy that knows everything about NJ hoops, whether it's college, high school, AAU, nobody covers New Jersey basketball like Jay does, but he's also our resident historian as far as Hoop Group alums are concerned. And so we decided that we'd take a look back on this year's NCAA Tournament, highlight a couple of Hoop Group alums, and maybe even help you try to figure out who you're going to pick here in your poll. We know that your brackets are all shot, so maybe you've got a little pool with the last four teams. We'll give you some hints on how you can help that out. So Jay, out of the 68 teams, how many teams had Hoop Group alums on them?
64 to 68 teams had a player on it that appeared at one of our Hoop Group events.
That's pretty impressive. Gonzaga, one of those that did not have a Hoop Group alum, so I have no idea how the hell the Zags are still in it, but obviously a West Coast school, so that skews it a little bit. Zags have looked good. I wouldn't bet against them, but if you're going to go with the line of thought that whoever's got the most Hoop Group guys, probably pretty good. Who was the team that had the most Hoop Group alums out of those 64 teams?
Well, last year's champion, Villanova, 11 Hoop Group alums on the squad this year, including Josh Hart, Chris Jenkins.
Yep. Now, Wanda, they were the #1 overall seed. Not quite sure how they end up. Well, I know how they lost. They played Wisconsin, who should not have been an 8 seed, as the NCAA Tournament had a tough time, the committee, with seeds throughout. It wasn't just Wichita State. There were a lot of them. That was a tough matchup because of the size and the experience of Wisconsin in the second round. Or who knows, maybe Villanova will be back in the Final Four again. Certainly with the 11 Hoop Group alums, I'm sure some people around the office here were rooting for them a little bit. You mentioned Josh Hart as well this week. The All-American teams were announced. How many Hoop Groupers I would suspect on a couple of the All-American teams?
I think we had 19 this year, including Frank Mason, Player of the Year. So top players in the country, a lot of them went to Hoop Group events over the years during the course of their high school careers.
All right, cool. So obviously Frank Mason, unanimous selection on the first team. Josh Hart, another first team All-American, so congratulations to all those guys. You also had guys that sometimes you forget about. Clearly, one of the most memorable shots of the tournament, the first buzzer beater of the tournament was from Florida. Chioza end up with a runner. We didn't teach him that at camp, but Chris with the nice finish there to go down in Florida basketball lore with their game winner against Wisconsin. So guys all over the place. So now we get to the Final Four. So as I mentioned, Gonzaga, they've got no Hoop Group alums. So if you're picking your pool and you're thinking you stick with Hoop Group alums, you may not want the Zags. Although, again, they look pretty good in the regional final. How about the other teams? Who's got the most Hoop Group alums on?
Well, South Carolina and North Carolina, Eastern-based schools both have 5.
Okay.
Interestingly, it's the big men, too, that are best players in Hoop Group. Chris Silver from South Carolina really raised his stock this year with his playing the tournament.
Yep.
And the big kids in North Carolina, Kennedy Meeks and Isaiah Hicks, both Hoop Group guys, too.
All right, good. So both of them have 5. Dylan Brooks, one of the 2 players from Oregon as well. So there'll be a number of Hoop Group alums out there running around. And then finally, one last shout out out of the 68 teams, there are a ton of guys who have worked Hoop Group events, who have worked at camp, spoken at camp, whatever. But a couple shout outs to some of our full-time guys. Dan Hurley, who obviously ran camp up in the Poconos for a long time with us. His assistant, Jimmy Carr. If Jimmy Carr makes the NCAA Tournament, anything's possible out there. Jimmy Carr, one of the all-time great Hoop Group guys. I got more texts when URI won the A10 tournament, and congratulations from Jimmy Carr, from random guys I hadn't talked to in years, and guys also happy for Jimmy Carr. Rob Senderoff, another full-time Hoop Group employee for a while. Rob took the Golden Flashes at Kent State to the NCAA tournament. And then, as I said, guys who have worked camp all over the place. Frank Martin certainly has become a huge story into the Final Four. He'll be quoted a million times because he's an awesome quote. Nobody does better at the podium in those press conferences than Frank Martin. I remember Frank when he worked lead camp back at the College of New Jersey, back when it was Trenton State, a long time ago. Also worked at Sunshine Invitational when we ran stuff down in Florida. Great story for South Carolina, first time ever. Not just getting to the Final Four, and they had never gotten to the Sweet 16 or anything like that. So great story, and good to see another Hoop Group alum doing well. So, and Jay, you throughout the year put out a ton of lists on our website and stuff, just highlighting where all these Hoop Group alums are how they're doing, where they're playing. Where can people find that stuff out?
At hoopgroup.com. The Hoop Group has impacted the game of basketball grassroots throughout the years. A lot of players have their roots in the Hoop Group, so we highlight those guys over the year.
All right, and again, Jay's the guy, when you see all that stuff out, he's the guy going through all the lists and figuring out which guys are doing what, so we appreciate his help all the time. So we'll be back. Obviously, college basketball's over. You know, we got high school basketball pretty much wrapped up by the end of this weekend. With the Dick's Sporting Goods National Championships and stuff. So we will change our focus away from high school and college. We'll still have our Hoop Group NBA alums of the week, and we'll start getting some alums out of the AAU ranks as things turn and AAU heats up. So once again, make sure that you're following along. You ever have any questions or you want to make sure that we understand and know, and don't forget somebody who's done great things, make sure you email us here at hoopgroup.com.